All morning, I've been catching up on listening to people talk. Now it's our turn.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
It's lunchtime. What is going on, everybody? We are back and better than ever. It is lunch with the Clydesdale. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, please. There are like 40% of you that listen to the show every day, and you're freeloading and not subscribing to the show.
Click the button.
Just hit it.
Just
Yep. Click. Done.
It's
Click,
that easy.
done. Ready the noise.
If you're on the phone, you can just use with your finger. If you need to use your mouse, look. Tap it one time.
Before we get into this too far, I got a bone to pick, Mr. John George. 63 down in your little retirement village at the old folks' home. I'm sad that you're suffering, but you can take that 63 and shove it right up. You know where. I was telling Corey, up here in Ohio, we can't pick what we want to be. And so Sunday, it was shorts weather. Monday, I'm shoveling snow. I'm over it. I'm over the up and down. Pick one. If you want to stay winter forever, I can deal with that better than picking, just floating on the fence between summer and winter. It's freaking ridiculous.
It's the false hope. That's the whole problem, right? It's like, if it's just going to be cold, I can deal with that. I'll leave the heat on. I'll wear a jacket, whatever I got to do. But it's that, oh shit, it's nice outside. The sun's shining. The birds are chirping. All of that good stuff. And then 2 days later, it's like I'm digging myself out so I can leave out the driveway.
The bird frozen on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mark Phillips, you're right. All those disgusting freeloaders just listening in, not subscribing. Vicky says Nashville is 43 right now. It was 28 when I woke up. I think we're supposed to get above freezing at some point during the day. So I don't know. Living in Ohio sounds like the absolute worst punishment. Well, right now it is. Like, it is just, the saying here is, if you don't like the weather, just wait 10 minutes and it'll change. I lived in Tallahassee, Florida for 4 years, though, and the weather never changed. It was hot, humid, and sweaty 360 days out of 365.
Breezy.
No breeze. No breeze in Tallahassee.
Really?
None.
Get out.
You're an hour from the Gulf, so you don't even get anything from that. It is literally in the armpit of Florida.
I know where
it feels like an armpit.
I would have lost a bet to say that y'all wouldn't get in the Gulf breeze.
Mid 90s in Southern California, and it's not even winter yet. Only thing good about that state is Rogue Fitness. Well, and then we are here.
Let's say, and Scott. Let's go ahead and get that out the way while we're there.
Now, Daniel, you're going too far. John George, hey, if you want to live the life, hit me up. I make dreams come true.
Out there in the village.
Yes, thank you, Vicky and Scott.
I heard a rumor Rogue was there because Scott was there.
Yeah, everybody thinks that I'm here because of Rogue. Rogue is here because of me.
Correct.
Yeah, I wish I got on that train.
Right? Dear Bill and Katie.
15 years ago when they were meddling in their garage, I wish I had said, hey, need some help?
Building pull-up bars by hand. Yeah, that'd have been fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So I made the title of this show, Colton Can't Win the Games. And I did that because I wanted Kenneth DeLapp in the chat early, ready to go with both guns a-blaring.
Oh, he's loaded up, I guarantee.
And so I was watching Beyond the Whiteboard, Around the Whiteboard, whatever. I think it's Around the Whiteboard.
Whiteboard.
And so I clipped a piece from that, and they asked the question, can Colton win the games? And this was basically their response.
Have you read the papers? Do you know what everybody says? It's suicide. You know how strong he is. You can't win. Have you read the papers?
So that's directly from Around the Whiteboard yesterday when they asked that question.
Oh, I was tuned in. I had to make a choice yesterday, and as much as I love Around the Whiteboard because I think it's a fun show, I went and listened to Bill and Chase talking about the Open instead.
So I pose the question to you: are you with Seth and John and Adrian?
Which Adrian?
Adrian Balboa.
Balboa. I would not rule it out that he can. I would never rule it out that he can. I just wouldn't, dude. I've seen the dude too much to do too many things that people said that he wasn't going to be able to do. And then he just came back and was like, oh, I can't do that? Okay. And just came back and did. Would I pick him to win? No, not at all. I wouldn't. I think he is better as a perpetual underdog at this point. Having said that, the field, the men's field especially, is still ridiculous and still wide ass open. I mean, just look at last year. It's absolutely insane. Do I think he can? I won't rule it out. I won't say 100% one way or the other. I will be that wishy-washy on the fence guy. But I would never rule him out of any competition that he's in.
So I've said it. I have been pretty crystal clear on this show,
100%.
my opinion as to whether he can win the games or not. Right.
Yeah.
And I do not believe he can win the games.
Sure.
There is not a person that I adore on the men's side more than I adore Colton. Right. I consider him a friend. I've hung out with him after competitions. I have interviewed him tons of times. Allie's awesome too. Like I've hung with them. I know them. But I truly believe that the games are a 4-day competition. I know it's advertised as 3, but we know they're going to the ranch on Thursday. So it's going to be a 4-day competition. I think in a 2-day competition like Mayhem last year or other semifinal type events, he can compete because they're shorter. I think when it comes to the games and more events, the amount he has to overcome to beat people in events becomes larger, and the toll it takes on his body through the weekend is too much for him to win the games. And that's my way of saying that he is proving that on any given day, on any given workout, he can overcome whatever limitation he has with his height, and he can beat anybody in the world. But when you put together 10 or 12 events, it is too much for his body to take in one weekend.
Yeah, you're saying that there's something he can overcome in a couple of events. Having to keep doing that over and over and over again is just going to end up taking its toll, where somebody who's just bigger doesn't necessarily have the same amount of problems, right?
Right.
Yeah. Mike DeVito.
Mike says that's the same reason he hasn't podiumed at the games. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I get that. I'm gonna put this to you. You said the same thing about him for 26.1.
I didn't say the same thing about him about 20. Because in any individual event, he can overcome that. In one event, he is so fit and so able to go to a place that others can't go for 1, 2, 4 events that he can win any of those competitions. It's when we get to 10, 12 events that the toll is going to be too much. I didn't pick him to win event 1 of the Open, but I didn't say he didn't have a chance.
No, but as soon as wall balls came out, you were probably like, "Oh fuck, here we go."
Well, no, in no way picking him not to win 26-1 was looking at the field and thinking who has the best shot. I didn't think he didn't have a chance. Like, I would have, if you would have asked me that day, I would have said he had a 25% chance to win that event. You ask me if he can win the games, I'd put it at 1%.
Okay, so what about podium?
I don't think so. I think it's too much. And I think because when it falls off, like, and it's an event where his body just can't overcome the obstacle, he gets a 30th place finish or a 27th place finish. And that's too much to overcome on those weekends. You're talking about a guy whose best finish ever was 10th last year, 11th, 10th or 11th.
I'd have to go look it up.
Right? Before that was 19th. Before that, we were talking, didn't even make the first cut. And the dude's a legend, and he's going to go down in history as one of the coolest, great athletes we have ever seen. It's just that makeup of that competition is not feasible for him.
12th last year.
So that's his highest finish ever. And all of a sudden he's going to make a 9-place jump to a podium position.
Sorry, I got lost in the comments for a second.
We can say that if his rope hadn't, but he's still not near podium.
So, but if he's not near podium, but he's up nearer the podium than 12th place. I don't know, man. I've seen, I'm a big believer in watching people trend, and he has been trending upwards since he got here. And every time somebody says he can't do something, he comes out the next year and he says, "Oh, remember when you said I couldn't do this? Well, now check this out." And then the next year comes out and it's, well, he's not real good at this. And then that comes out and it just happens. So again, I'm not picking him by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that his upside is way, way bigger than his perceived limitations are. Put it to you like that.
Dude, I completely disagree.
I understand. You can. You're not 5'6". People have been underestimating me my entire fucking life as well. And I love it now. I bank on it. I want to be. I also want all the smoke, and I feel like he does too.
But he's not 5'6" either.
No, he's 2 inches shorter than I am.
Right. At least.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to play a role in a longer competition. I agree with you when you say when people tell him he can't do this, he goes and does that, right? But the cumulative effect of having to overcome all of those things that he couldn't do time after time, event after event, takes a toll on the body that someone that is naturally suited for those movements doesn't have to overcome. And by the end of a long weekend, it takes its toll. The dude has Matt Frazier's. He is more head strong, mindset strong than Matt Frazier.
He has no excuses. I love it.
None. And
I absolutely love it. Like there's absolutely no bullshit in him whatsoever. It's probably my favorite thing. Probably my favorite thing about the dude.
Nobody trains harder. Nobody has done more to get more out of their body than he has.
Not even trains harder. Think about the fact that he still runs the pig farm. He still has Colton's teeny weenies, and they're selling soap now. And like, he has all of this shit going on, and is still competition ready right now. Right this second. If the game started tomorrow, the one person I know for a fact would be ready to go, games prep, ready, knock it out, is Colton Mertens.
Wayne asks, who's better, Colton or Prime Bridges? The competition Bridges went up versus the competition that Colton is currently going up is night and day.
It's not the same thing.
Colton would crush Bridges.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I'd agree to that. Yes, and it wouldn't even be close.
The men's athlete field is so much deeper today than it ever was back then. It is ridiculous what Colton has overcome.
And yeah, and look. That's not the one I was talking about, but yeah. No, just the moves better. He absolutely moves better than Josh ever did. Did. Josh moved pretty well, and Colton, it makes him look like somebody who just started their own ramp.
So Shanna says that a long run isn't good for him. Can he ever make that up? And then Train Olive says, Shanna, if he can become a middle of the pack athlete on those events, that will be huge for him. But you're asking him to out train and outwork his body on a long list of things now. Everything that he's bad at, he's got to be better than anybody else has ever been at his size at.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to do that for 6 events out of 12 instead of some athletes that have to do that for 3 or 2. And my argument is, yes, he can do that for 1 event, but doing it over the course of a weekend for 6 events is too much for the body to take.
I'm looking at his scores from last year. Let's see.
Lots of reps to travel distances. Mid-pack effort for him is a compact pickup truck chasing Corvettes.
Games only have 6 events last year?
No.
So why is it
It had 8 or 9.
Yeah. So where are the? Oh, there we go. Yep, I found the rest of them.
James has improved in things that he was bad at and things that aren't typically big guy movement events. But you cannot argue, Trent, that the whole programming of the CrossFit Games has moved to a bigger power output athlete. So not only has Colton overcome all of these things, at the very same time, the programming has moved in a direction where it is all about power output. It is bikes, it is rowers, it is ski ergs, it is rope climbs, it is all these things that actually have made it easier. Now, James has been remarkable at his improvement. And James is way younger than Colton. So James had to grow into his own body and get comfortable there. And once he got comfortable, the improvement happened. But along with that, the programming has moved in the direction of a bigger athlete.
The one where his rope broke, that was all crossed up. Is that right?
Yep.
That wasn't his worst finish.
Yeah.
His worst finish was the run, roll, run, obviously. But yeah, the one where his rope broke, I mean, it was still a 20th, not a the run, roll, run was 26. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 events outside of the top 20 last year.
So bottom third on 4 events.
And then also had a 19th and a 17th. Won squat, second on hammer down, 11th on throttle up. And was still his best games to date. The first place on the back squat really helped his case. And then the second on hammer down. So I unfortunately have been in those situations where I have done really well on a couple of events and then just absolutely shit the bed on a couple of ones. And that's where you end up, is somewhere middle of the pack, just kind of middling about, because you have to be more consistent. You can have one kind of bad event. You cannot have one, holy shit, this is terrible event, because you end up middle of the pack no matter what else you do. Like you just can't.
So John George is like, I don't think it's about his ability for his body to hold up. It's just he is constantly behind the 8 ball when there's a dumb ass machine getting in the way on every event. I don't think it's again, we can argue this all we want, but Corey just listed that half of the events he was in the bottom half of the finishing. More than half. That's a long list of things that he's got to get to mid-level to compete. It's not just one thing.
I'll put it to you like this. It is going to be fun to watch him compete this year, like at semifinals and then at the games, just to see exactly what the man does. I don't know if there's anybody who's got more hype around him to just out of sheer curiosity, if nothing else. Hey, what is this dude going to do this year?
There's hype around him too, because he's just a great dude.
100%.
Right? He is adored and loved in this space because of everything he has done. People would have told him, they did tell him 5 years ago, you got no shot. You got no shot to make the games. And then he does it, right? And so he becomes the Rocky of CrossFit. He becomes the ultimate underdog. And he probably has more fans than any other athlete at the games, because he's just a great dude who has given more to this than anyone else. And he's willing to take on anybody, any day, any time in a workout, and go a mano at any point.
He is the best shit talker we have currently. And it's not even close. It's not even close. Like the banter that the boys have, it's not real, right? It's just them messing with each other. It's somewhat real, but it's not really real. When Colton comes out and says, all these nerds knew I was fixing to win this event, he means that from his soul. And he'll tell them before the thing, go, hey, I'm fixing to win this event. You guys know that, right? And he's going to step on the floor and just knock it out. His social media is unmatched. I don't give a damn what anybody says. That one where he just posted like earlier this week, waiting to see if he won the Open, when he's just like standing out in the snow, and it's recreating that bro, it's fantastic. His post-game interview, his post-match interviews are absolutely fantastic, because he just says whatever's on his brain. It's awesome. Like and it's come such a far way from when he first showed up because none of that stuff was happening. It's fantastic.
Vicky said if he had just hit 12th place on those events, puts him easily in 7th or 8th place.
That's a big jump.
And if I win the lottery, I ain't here tomorrow.
I would be here tomorrow if you won the lottery.
But there's 4 events he has to get better on at the games.
And not just a little bit better. 26th to 12th is a huge jump.
Does he win during the Matt Rich era?
No.
I don't think he wins. But I do think he could podium during that era.
He could have podium during the Rich era for damn sure. Probably during Matt as well. Not win. Nobody was beating Matt.
Right. Nobody, and I don't think anybody beats Rich.
No, Rich was the best. Rich was the best on Sunday we've ever seen. Like, he just overcame whatever else was going on, and he won everything on Sunday and went home with his titles. Could he have podium during the Rich era? Absolutely. I also think he could have podium during the Matt area, because who came in second?
Pat, Brent,
right? Religiously, over and over again. And he would have been right there in that mix. Lucas, Hogberg, like, those type of guys who, aside from Pat and Brent, like, Hogberg showed up that year ready, ended up on the podium, and then you haven't really heard from him since then. Pat and Brent have hung around and been reliable as far as that kind of stuff. You know what you're going to get out of him year after year. But I think Colton, if he'd have been in his prime, in his bag, whatever you want to call it, during those years, then he'd absolutely, if he'd have been who he is now, then sure, I think he would have definitely got on the podium. Now,
David Reed says, if Hopper can win, Colton can win. I really think you guys are blinded by your love for Colton. Hopper is a freak athlete. And he did win the games. Look at his finishes last year. Like, it was consistent. You guys are nuts. And to be honest, I love that you love him that much. I love that you guys love him that much, because I do too. I just am looking at the facts, and there's no possible way.
So Hopper's worst finish was a 17th on Throttle Up. Second worst finish was an 11th on Running Isabel. Everything else was inside the top 10. And he won Climbing Couplet and came in second on Going Dark, third on Atlas. That's hard to argue with.
Remove the machines and Hopper doesn't win. You can say that about any champion from any games and take away an element and say that they don't win.
Remove the rope climb from Rich Froning, and he never falls off of it and wins the game.
He wins 5 championships
instead of 4. Yeah.
You can throw those hypothetical. And if you think we're getting rid of the machines at this point, you're high. You've been dipping into the Alex Kazan gummies. We experienced this with Spieler. Colton is our Boise State, or in March Madness, he's our Loyola Chicago. Exactly. And that's why he's adored, because he's overcome so much to get so far. And when people told him he couldn't do it, and I love that people love him that much, but you just cannot be looking at it from an analytical side and think that he has a chance. The hypotheticals make me think it's finally a real sport.
Right? This is what baseball guys do all the time.
Well, if Babe Ruth went up against Roger Clemens,
100%.
he wouldn't have won a single Cy Young award.
Absolutely. If the professor would have been pitching to Bo Jackson, he wouldn't have hit all them or whatever. Like, man, it's not the same thing, dog. It's really, really not. The baseball guys do it. They love stats. They will throw that kind of stuff all the way down.
CrossFit says Colton's putting me in some effing list now for that comment. I am sure that I am moving right to the top of the list.
You know what? Good.
But if it makes him better and he wins, I would be happy. If, honest to God, if he won, nobody would be happier for that dude than I am. Well, maybe Kenneth.
Probably Kenneth.
Probably Kenneth.
Probably Kenneth.
Other than Kenneth, no one would be happier than I would be for
not
that.
Not even Allie.
I adore that dude. I'm just looking at it from an analytical sense and saying it's not going to happen. All those teams that CrossFit mentioned, how many of them won the national championship?
Yeah, that'd be none.
0. They had some upsets. They had some big wins. They did some great things. We all were super pumped and we all watched to see how far they go. But at the end of the day, it was Duke and Kentucky and all the people that we thought were going to win in the first place.
It's very, very rare that the Cinderella story actually ends in a happy ending.
Right.
That's why it's a fairy tale.
Exactly. And the only time we see the happy ending is when we turn on a Disney movie.
Yeah.
CrossFit, you're wrong too. Colton does not peak for the Open. No. Colton has always peaked.
Sorry, always peaked. Colton's ready to go at any given time. Ask him. He will tell you. He is ready to go right now. Colton falls under that. You don't have to, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Every single time.
If Babe Ruth went against Shohei, he'd say some bad words.
Some real bad ones. Some real bad ones.
That one hit me.
Some World War II bad ones. You understand? Yes, Colton would have been an absolute problem from 2012 to 2018. 100%.
I believe that if Colton was taller, y'all would. But he's not. Again, more hypotheticals. Pick him to win if he was taller. Sure, but he's not. So, Colton would have been a problem in 2012 to I think he's on the podium from 2012 to 2018.
Look at Colton doing push-pull or what is it? Two-stroke pull. Bruh, that'd have been a race right there. Colton doing even before then, or not before then, after then, Colton doing strongman sphere.
If Wemby was shorter, he wouldn't be Wemby. And Shanna says, if Colton were taller, he wouldn't be Colton.
If Colton would be taller, we would not be talking about him like we are.
Right. He'd just be another guy.
He'd be lost in
the top, but because he is who he is, he's special.
100%.
And because I am the king of transitions and segues, Vicky's helping me out today. Speaking of bad words, wake up not cursing the sun by getting your Thirdsy. Go to thirdsy.com/Jazzy. Get 15% off your order. Or just use the promo code Jazzy at checkout and get that same 15% off. Get your collagen protein. Get your the best sleep you're ever going to get. There's no melatonin to mess you up or to make it addictive. All of that stuff gone. Just a good night's sleep and quick recovery.
Because you can either do Thirdsy /Jazzy or use Jazzy at checkout, it's athlete's choice. It's up to you.
And with all this tournament talk, don't forget, we have our tournament brackets live on ESPN.com, and you can get in for free. The link is in the description of this show or yesterday's show or Sunday night show, and use the code Jazzy to sign in. And there's a men's bracket and a women's bracket. There will be a winner determined from both, and you will receive a famous reward. What do they say in Christmas Story? A major award.
A major award.
You'll receive a major award if you win either bracket.
Oh man, mostly we just want Jamie to lose.
keep Jamie from getting the major award.
Mostly we just need Jamie to lose.
That's
It
it.
really doesn't matter what else happens. We just need Jamie to lose.
The March Madness music is already in my head, but I never need a Dickie v. Charles Booth again. Yeah,
I just saw highlights of it this morning.
It's time for him to move on.
He's always looked old, but like I saw the highlights from that this morning, and he looks real old right now. I didn't realize how bad he actually looks.
Cancer does that to anybody, man.
Imagine, brother, but goodness. And Dickie V, all due respect, retire, brother.
Fragile, it must be Italian.
Fragile.
So anyway, not 2 times, 6 times, and he's in his 80s.
Bless him.
So yeah, that kicks off tomorrow. So before tomorrow's show, you need to be signed up or you miss out on the tournament challenge.
I think I'm going to sign up this year, just see if I can get Jamie knocked out. I have absolutely no idea who's winning anything in college basketball, but I'm just going to start going and pick teams.
I'll tell you, on the women's side, I have LSU in the Final Four.
I mean, I would never bet against LSU, not the women's team. Men's team, I would bet against them all day long, but not so much the women's.
All right. That took up way more of what I thought about. So I did want to talk a little bit about something I heard with Wodapalooza, and that was that, and I think Jenny said it on her dense update this morning. Would she go back next year after the experience she had? And Mark Phillips, I just said I have him in the Final Four. I didn't say I had him winning. Anyway, so, and that's on the women's side. I do not have them on the men's side. She was saying that would she go back? And she did say she had a lot of fun, even with all the weather and the chaos and the whatever, right? Every time I went to Wodapalooza, in the airport on the way home, I would bump into athletes, and every time they're like, wow, that was a shit show. That was awful. I'm never coming back. And then the next year I would go to Wodapalooza, and those same athletes are signed up for Wodapalooza, doing Wodapalooza. And so I think in the moment when all that chaos happens, you think, well, that was awful, and I don't ever want to come back again. And then as time goes by, and especially us in the north, it gets cold, and you get distance from that, and you're like, you know what? It wasn't so bad. At least it was a warm rain.
Right. It's spring rain instead of January rain like it normally is.
So it's going to be interesting to see the effect this year to next year. It's going to be interesting to see if they stay in March. Are they going to get the subsidy again to keep it in March, or do they move back to January when maybe they get more bigger named athletes to come? I think all the big names were in the teams, and we missed out on some tremendous races in the team side because it just never really got off the ground.
No, I mean, individual side, it was James and everybody else. I mean, he was undeniable, man. Good Lord.
It's like a bad ex-girlfriend. You break up at the airport, 11 months go by, then you think that wasn't so bad, and bam, rain again.
Well, it's recency bias. Oh yeah, here we go.
Nothing colder than a cold November rain.
One of the longest videos I've ever seen in my entire life. It's recency bias while you're still at the airport, right? You're still at the airport, your clothes are still wet because you just got rained on again. You just remember shivering and holy shit, that was stupid. And I was just doing strict pull-ups with a vest on in the rain, and I'm not ever doing that again. That's absolutely ridiculous. And then you go home, and then you dry out, and then springtime happens, and the rest of the season goes by, and then all of a sudden the qualifiers come up for Wodapalooza, and you're like, yep, I'm signing up for that. because then you start looking back on it and you start laughing about what happens. And sorry.
The chat's on fire today.
The chat is on fire today.
Vicky said I was on fire with the Colton thing. The chat's on fire today.
Chat's on fire today. And you start looking back on you like, I mean, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't so bad. I mean, I still had fun. I still talked to this person. I still did that. I still, you making memories, whether good, bad, or indifferent. I don't think, I hate to say it's a wait and see thing, but I really don't think most of those people who are like, oh, I'm not ever going back, are actually mean that they're never going back. I think that those people with that kind of disciplined take on it, I guess you said, when they say I'm never going back, they mean it, or few and far between, especially in this space. Like, there's only so many competitions you can do. There's only one that's on South Beach in Miami. Good, right, wrong, or indifferent, thunderstorm or no thunderstorm, it's just where it is.
So we had November rain, and then CrossFit says probably better than the rains down in Africa.
That's what I was laughing at.
And then Joseph comes in with, as long as it's not a purple rain. Now, purple rain in Miami for the Super Bowl with the Bears versus the Colts may have been the greatest halftime performance ever in a Super Bowl.
Not may have been, was. Because it was like they just called down the rain. It just happened out of nowhere because it was not fake rain. It was an actual rainstorm.
Then there was another piece I wanted to bring up here real quick. Oh, here. I bet James and Lucy will be back for their third Z straight win.
The chat is on fire.
Third Z straight win. Don't forget, code Jazzy.
It's beautiful.
And Here Comes the Rain Again was being played all day long by the Eurythmics. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder, have you ever seen the rain
coming down on a sunny day? Oh, who stopped the rain? I mean, there's a whole lot of songs about rain. Goodness.
There is, man. Too bad we weren't sponsored by rain.
We, you know what? I'm okay with that. Okay with that. However, if Ghost is laying around or C4 still,
yeah,
we'll take it. CCR does talk a lot about the rain. That's a fact.
That's because they grew up in Louisiana.
I mean, what you gonna do?
Just don't set fire to the rain. All right, now you're moving into too much modern music for me. That Adele stuff. I can't hit the Adele notes, Joseph. Now you're just asking too much.
Nor am I going to try, for that matter.
All right, here's my last rant of the day, and then I've got to get back to work.
Okay.
I was watching the WOD Prep podcast from last night because they did another one because everybody bailed on CJ Monday night. So they did one last night, and it ended up being John, Brian, Friend, and CJ. They were complaining about...
Wait, John was complaining about something? Get out of here.
They were complaining about... CJ was making a valid complaint about didn't like invites to semifinals and didn't like the fact that Mayhem programs every event of semifinals when they are a coaching group of athletes, right?
Absolutely.
And he said a lot of nice things about Mayhem in the process, but was saying those are two things he didn't like. And Brian was saying, well, they're playing by the rules they were given, right? Those are the rules that are out there. And I don't debate that at all. But then he made a statement that and he didn't mention any names because that's what he's good at, is he was saying that the person running the CrossFit Games season allows all this. What pissed me off is you're blaming Dave for the structure of the CrossFit Games season like he independently created it. I am sure as shit that if Dave Castro had his druthers we would be back to 2017, 2018 with the Open, with regionals, with the games.
End of
Other
story.
people made decisions, financial at first, to go away from that structure.
Yeah.
Because they went away from that structure, we have been the dog trying to catch his tail, trying to figure this out ever since then. So the fact is, it's not just Dave making the structure of the season. Now it's probably Berkshire and the board saying, you can do this. No, you absolutely cannot do this. You cannot do that. We need to put it in the hands of the third party. So they're running semifinals. So it gets rid of all of our cost, all of our liability, and we have nothing to do with it anymore. You think Dave wanted to give up control of the semifinals?
Of all people.
To blame him for that thing is one of the most preposterous things I've ever heard. There is no way Dave Castro ever wanted to give up control of the structure of the season.
Here's the fun part. He said, defending Rich and saying, well, they're just working within the structure that they're given, as if Dave isn't. As if Dave is not in the same boat at that point. Dave is a soldier. Yes, he is in charge of stuff. He is a high ranking, but Dave does what Dave is told to do by his higher ups. Period. End of story. Does he have some input? I'm sure he does. He just said earlier this week that if it was up to him, we would still be doing regionals, but it's not.
Dave has some IKEA furniture with half the parts, no drawings on how to assemble, and a Swedish name table.
Easy. Easy.
Fair, but I think a couple of easy-ish fixes are at least no camps should program semifinals, no invites qualifiers outside the quarterfinals. That's assuming you think he has the ability to say that.
Right.
There's no way he has the ability. They needed to get after the Lazar Jukic thing, the board's intention was to remove as much liability from CrossFit as possible. And I know that has never come out publicly, but you'd have to go a long way to convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
You know there were lawsuits over that death. And after those lawsuits, that board said, get our name out of their mouths and let's give as much liability to everybody else and not with us. And because of that, you lose all the control after the Open and before the CrossFit Games.
The invite thing, I don't like it either. Matter of fact, I would almost say vehemently against it, because I know several people that got invites that if you got an invite to a semifinal already, what are you doing in quarterfinals for? What are you even bothering with it for? Like, you can just go do the workouts, log, like walk through them basically, log some kind of time, and then send it through, because you already got an invite to the semifinal. So like, that's not a level playing field at that point, because you got an invite ahead of time. I think that the invite thing is probably part of whatever deal that they made with all the people who are hosting semifinals now, because they're like, okay, well, if I'm going to run this, I'm going to run it my way. And that involves, I'm going to invite these people and I'm going to invite whoever I want, because it's my semifinal. I'm having it at my place. It's my dollars that are putting this up.
I think semis see the Mayhem stamp as a stamp of legitimacy, otherwise no named events too. I don't disagree with you at all. And they're playing within the rules they're given, but to put the blame of the rules on just Dave Castro is so short-sighted. The fact that you're boycotting everything until Dave is removed from that position tells me that you don't know much about the structure of the way CrossFit works today.
Yeah.
the semifinals operate like weird conference tournaments. Yeah, the Big Ten has their rules. The SEC has their rules. The Big 12 have their rules. And their tournaments all run in a different cadence and format from each other. And that's how the semifinals go.
And that's Ortega's thing.
Quarters are needed. What if they don't do good now? And now their invite is not part of semis. Semis run just a competition.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, people that I know that got invites to semifinals, do they even still need to do quarterfinals? I'm sure they need to do them, right? You have to participate in the season. That part I do know, but do you still have to be in a qualifying position at this point? Because that's what my goal is next weekend, is to finish as high as I can in quarterfinals to hopefully get an invitation to go compete in person for an in-person semi.
You have to be in the top 2,000 at quarters.
That's not hard to do. That's not hard to do. It's just not.
Board certainly offloaded liability as well as financial burdens. Exactly. And yeah, Dave's leash has shortened and grown multiple times throughout history. Yes.
Depends on who's in charge.
Even when Greg was there, Dave was not the boss.
No.
Top 400 for Masters, very doable, and few of us have already qualified for semis, which makes quarterfinals basically a chore. Speaking of, we need to point out, Lido to finish top 50 in the world.
Yeah.
As a Masters athlete.
Ridiculous.
And not only that, she finished third in her age group. And the only people above her were the first and second place finishers at the games last year.
Yeah.
Caroline Prevost, Caroline Klutz, and Lido.
Lido's fit. It's ridiculous.
So huge shout out to her. Huge kudos for all that she's accomplished in this Open. And I'm sure all she wants to do is get on to semifinals at this point. Right? Because she had that kind of a performance in the Open where you want to get to quarters to like show what you really have.
100%.
Then, right. When do quarterfinal invites go out? I think soon. Because
23rd.
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 18th now, so 5 days from now.
5 days from now, which I think is Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
No thanks needed. You deserve every bit of the praise and flowers, Miss Lido.
Miss Lido. But I'm pretty sure that's Monday. They're also releasing the workouts on the Games channel Monday at noon, which means that we're going to have
4 days to figure it out.
And they're probably going to give us passwords that we have to say on camera before we can actually start.
Yeah, I don't. Do you remember the reel? I made it from last year when Jamie and Carolyn said the same phrase over and over again, and I clipped them all together.
I know how they feel.
Yeah,
I know how they feel. It's awkward. I'll say that it's awkward.
Greg at times would get a bug to control the games, but otherwise would care less. Agreed. But when the games were at their pinnacle, at the height of their popularity, selling out in a day, that's when Greg decided to get in and change everything. So. Yeah. Lido, your guess is as good as mine. Whether there's going to be one submission window or more, I'm sure they'll let you all know that on Monday.
I'm hoping Lido just one because they start Thursday, and I have a job. Most of us masters athletes still, have a 9 to 5 to clock into and out of. So I'm hoping that it's just, get them done over the weekend whenever you can, get them turned in before Monday or whatever the case is, and just kind of move on from there.
Yeah, I have something there, but we don't have time today. So, yeah. Anyway, usually the first submission window is Saturday at noon, and then second one is Sunday at noon Eastern. That's usually doable, even if it's work.
It depends. It's going to depend on how many we get as well.
So, anyway, all right. If my kid made quarterfinals, I'm just letting you know, they don't need to go to school on Friday. Let's get this done. This is an opportunity. That's my opinion. Say what you will about my parenting, but
I think you do it pretty good.
No employer has asked me what my high school geometry grade was.
As it turns out. And nobody asked what I got as my overall grade in high school. Life is full of experiences. Don't miss out on the good ones. That's what I'm saying. 100%.
You don't really have to do the mile run one anyways. Flashing back to last year's team.
Dude, I watched I saw the highlights of chasing the Imam Company team around with the camera. Like it was great. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. David Reed, we plan on pulling our daughter out from school for quarters. I would too, man. Cheers. Solid parenting. I would do the same. Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah.
I remember when Annie and that Camille were here at Rogue, and they were doing a workout, and I pulled my daughter out of school to go hang out with them because those were her two heroes when she was doing CrossFit, and she wasn't even working out. We just went down to watch them and get a picture with them, and she still has it hanging in her apartment.
Yeah, I would too.
Like, life is full of cool things. Don't miss them over high school when nobody's going to care in 20 years.
Hold on, Vicky.
Well, I agree with you, Vicky.
I want to know why she's not competing. Because she damn sure made quarterfinals. Oh, I'm messaging her here in a little bit. I want to know what that's about. You made quarterfinals, Vicky. You are fit. You should be competing in quarterfinals.
iPhone really showed that you won't have a calculator in your pocket someday, crowd.
I'll be talking to people like about coach or whatever, and I was like, hold on, let me do some math with this calculator. Every teacher I ever had said I wasn't going to have at every single moment of my life.
Uh, 100% agreed. Parents here get fined for pulling kids out of school without reason, though.
Damn.
Wow. Like Nike told the Michael Jordan, go ahead and wear them. We'll pay the fine.
Absolutely.
Definitely DM me because maybe I'm not understanding it all correctly. All right. There we go.
All these people that are saying they have business competing, that's not true. Your fitness through the open showed that you do have business competing, and seeing what you can do for quarterfinals so that next year you can take all the things that you learned, which are data points, and apply them to your training to get better at them for next year. Yes, if you made quarterfinals, you are worthy of competing. Unless your movement is trash and you just lied about your scores, yes, you should be competing.
And with that,
It's my
Don't
positive
forget
rant.
to like and subscribe, people. We don't want any more freeloaders in this. We're not just kidding. If you want to be a freeloader and listen, you can. But we would really appreciate it if you just hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I'm broken now too, CrossFat. With that, we will see everybody tomorrow. I think I can get it in before I have to leave. We'll do tomorrow, and we'll get back at this and fight over whatever we're going to fight about tomorrow. With that, have a great rest of your day. We will see everybody tomorrow. Bye, guys.